Wednesday edition of PFT Live. The Vikings are conducting their mandatory minicamp. When we last heard from quarterback J.J. McCarthy and quarterback Kyler Murray, McCarthy did not make a great impression. Many were saying that his response regarding the relationship between himself and Kyler Murray left something to be desired. He kind of got dragged for that a little bit. Murray was viewed as the guy who was being the bigger man, the guy who was more magnanimous, the guy who is showing up as a veteran and trying to help the younger player learn the ropes. They were back at it again on yesterday, and here's McCarthy. Fresh chance to talk to the media. Talking about his comfort level right now compared to where he was last year in the Kevin O'Connell offense.
I feel so good. You know, just every single rep, every single year, more and more experience just helps build that confidence and that familiarity within the scheme. And right now, I feel the best I've ever felt playing the game of football, especially in the scheme. I think things being instinctual when you hear it, you know, being able to pop into your mind very clear and very fast. And that helps a lot with just playing instinctual out there and, you know, making the right plays when the ball snaps.
My instinct tells me that instinctual may not be a word, but we'll give him a break. He went to Michigan. As we would say to Josh Alper, who went to Michigan. Says the guy who lives in West Virginia. I understand the irony of that remark. We're just having some fun. But there is something to be said for year in and year out continuity. I remember how excited Kevin O'Connell was entering into his second year with the Vikings, second year with Kirk Cousins, because Cousins had never had the same person in his ear before every play for 2 straight seasons. So we're getting into year 3 for J.J. McCarthy. Now, year 1, he had the surgery from a preseason injury, and he was gone for the entire year. And yes, he was around, but he's had 2 years of being fully engaged now. Well, this will be year 2 in the offense. He's ahead of Kyler Murray. The question is, can he iron out the flaws? He's got accuracy issues. You can't teach accuracy. You either have accuracy or you don't. He's got that one-pitch arsenal where he cranks up and fires the fastball. No touch. Got to layer the ball. Got to diversify your portfolio of passes. And those are things that you don't teach a guy. Those are things that are either there or they're not. So, yeah, McCarthy may be feeling better within the offense. That doesn't necessarily mean that he's going to perform the way he should. By the way, Gary says instinctual is a fully valid word. It's an adjective that describes feelings, behaviors, or ideas based on instinct rather than learning or learned knowledge or conscious thoughts. So I stand corrected, or I sit corrected, as the case may be. Instinctual is a word. I'm so used to Sims that anything that sounds slightly unusual to me, I assume is not a word.
And it's a good word, and I think it applies here. But, yeah, there's certain coaches in the NFL, Mike, that make quarterbacks better. And I think KOC is right there at the top of that, along with Kyle Shanahan and some others who Sean McVay, that make quarterbacks better. And if you can't do it under KOC, I'm not sure you can do it. I'm not sure that you're going to go another place and get right if he can't make you right. And we saw it with Sam Darnold. He made Sam Darnold right. And if you go back and look at that, what a terrible decision it was not to re-sign Sam Darnold. I don't know. You're a Vikings fan. I don't know where that ranks in decisions that the Vikings made that weren't very good. I think you probably put that behind Herschel Walker, but I don't know that it was a great decision.
I disagree with you. Since we're there, let me tell you what I think about it. I think they had no choice but to let Sam Darnold go. I think they had real concerns about his performance in Week 18 when it was winner take all. The lights were the brightest. They wouldn't have won the Super Bowl if he had stayed. I think that the bigger mistake was not keeping Daniel Jones. They needed someone there who could provide support for insurance for and ultimately competition for J.J. McCarthy. If Sam Darnold was there, it would have been too awkward, because how do you bench Sam Darnold after he went 14-3 or 13-4, whatever it was? If Daniel Jones is there, there's less of a threat. There's less of an obvious threat to McCarthy. He has a chance to go out and run with it. And if he face plants like Daniel Jones over the 5-yard line, then you've got Daniel Jones who can come in and play. I think the bigger issue is not keeping Daniel Jones, frankly. And I think last year, if they'd have had Daniel Jones with the rest of the team that they had, they would have been a playoff team. Who knows how deep they would have gone into the postseason, but they would have been a playoff team. This year, they had to go out and get somebody who was more obviously a threat to J.J. McCarthy. Whoever it ended up being, it ends up being Kyler Murray. This is more of a threat. This is more of a shot across the bow. Keeping Daniel Jones would not have been the same shot across the bow as keeping Sam Darnold would have been. So I think they did the right thing, but they should have done the truly right thing and found a way to keep Daniel Jones.
And here they sit with 2 former top 10 draft picks trying to find one of them to lead them and get them back in the postseason. And we'll see which one emerges out of this, Mike. But what are you going to say?
They have 3 former top 10 draft picks in the quarterback room. How can you forget Carson Wentz?
Oh, forgot
3.
Carson Wentz. Completely forgot Carson
Number
Wentz.
2 in 2016, number 1 in 2019, number 10 in 2024.
Yeah.
Those are all on the Vikings.
Completely forgot Carson. Sorry, Carson Wentz. Completely forgot you. But yes, they do, and played pretty well last year for the Vikings. But in this 2-man race, Mike, I don't know who's going to win this, and I don't know that they have their quarterback of the future on the roster right now, and it's going to have to be perhaps a search beyond this year to find that guy. Kyler Murray's got an opportunity here, though, to, as I said, KOC's the guy to get you right. And if he can be a quarterback in the NFL, anybody who goes to the wasteland that is Cleveland or Arizona as a quarterback, various other places, it's hard to do what you need to do. Even if you're really good, it's hard to win in those places, I guess is what I'm trying to say. And so he was there for 7 seasons and put up some good numbers, but he didn't win. And the one playoff game that he played in was the worst performance of his career. It was god-awful, to put it in terms that we can say on TV. It was bad. And so he's got a chance now to turn that career around, and this might be, Mike, his last chance to be a starter. He may end up being a Carson Wentz or some of these other guys who move around and are just backups for the rest of their careers if he can't get it right with the Vikings this year. This might be his last real opportunity to be a starter in the NFL.
And his options are always going to be limited because there is a group of coaches who would never have a 5'10" quarterback anywhere on the depth chart. Once he no longer is playing at a level where he is a starter, that is just going to make it even harder for him. And this is a guy who was a first overall pick and has made a lot of money, and he may not even want to mess around with being a backup. I'm surprised once things didn't work out in Arizona, he didn't start flirting with the idea of going back and playing baseball. That was one of the narratives early in his career. Will he go play baseball if he encounters adversity that is so unusual to him? When you consider how rarely he lost in high school and college, all of a sudden you're slapping up against a ceiling that you can't get through. Will you just get frustrated and go play baseball? If you're no longer a starter, now the thing is he's 29 now, I believe, or close to it. If you're no longer a starter, it's a little bit too late to do the Tim Tebow baseball fantasy camp, although he was around the same age when he did his thing with the Mets several years ago.